sitting there being a jerk behind the stage. He's like, let me keep removing. I was like, I thought it was my computer. I couldn't click it. I was like, what the heck? And Med's like, remove.
Done.
Older brother syndrome.
That's right. I am old.
All right, guys. Well, this is actually my only show of the week. My wife has got another surgery this week. Life's been good. I had a wonderful vacation. I've got a microphone. I feel like a legit podcaster now. It's not set up yet, but I had a really nice week away. I'm going to get into it in a second. But Med, I know you're sick, but how are you doing otherwise, dude?
I'm doing okay, I guess. Just trying to power it through for everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Basically got a head cold. Found out this morning when I tried to get up. I felt something coming up last night. So right now I'm drinking my tea to calm the tonsils.
Well, that's always fun. And somebody has been using this computer and the clicker's messed up. So now this is going to be an extra fun show. I might need the mouse. That's fun. Anyways, everybody, I was in Arizona for a week. It was absolutely fantastic. I've got some stories for Med I haven't even shared yet. It was, I beat the high score at Dave & Buster's. My dad came out. We were playing I can't remember the basketball one. It's the one you see at every Dave & Buster's or, like main event, the one where it moves. It only goes back. We play the round where it's all 2-pointers. Then it goes back. I can't remember which basketball one it's called, but he beats me the first 3 games. I was ticked. I was like, one of them, the balls got stuck and didn't come out. I was like, what the heck? Then I got on fire and the high score was 75 and I got a 76. That felt pretty damn good. I'm not going to lie.
So what you're telling me is your daddy was spanking you.
Yeah, and then I won 4 in a row. So it was like a Boston Red Sox comeback. It was great. And I beat him for the first time ever. It was rubber. It was inside darts. It wasn't steel, but I beat him for the first time in my life. Then he proceeded to kick my butt 3 times in a row. That time, I just got destroyed. That sucked. That was unfortunate. I'm not going to lie. But also, we've got some other news for you guys, and then we're going to get rolling here. I'm excited. But we got a new logo in the background. I premiered it on Twitter. I'm going to be putting it everywhere later tonight. We are now the Cheesy Bear Podcast. Jason wants to I'm hoping he's watching.
He is. He just actually just popped up.
Awesome. We're gonna meet with him soon. We've got a lot of goodies for you guys. I've got some fun topics. We're gonna be talking buy or sell some of these fringe contenders. I've got some other topics for Med, but I think we got to start with the Bears because they just fired a head coach.
Yeah, it was gonna happen.
Here's my question. How do you say that was a good performance or what you expected after that debacle at the end of the game? Because I just don't understand. What were your thoughts?
So the way that I look at it is this is the second week in a row that clock mismanagement had actually basically made us lose. First, you had a game against the Green Bay Packers in which he absolutely did nothing. And proceeded, he got it down, and so a lot of people were like, why don't you run at least one more play, get a little bit closer? That didn't happen. Field goal blocked.
He pulled the Mike McCarthy.
Yeah, he did. And
for real. That's what Mike McCarthy used to do for the Packers. I hated it.
And then the folling, it was like, he was like, well, if you didn't like that, watch this. And he proceeded to try to do it, but at the same time, it was so frustrating because you're sitting there and you're like, okay, run another play or call a timeout. The inner coach of me was saying, call a timeout. You got 32 seconds. Your quarterback just got sacked. Everyone's trying to get back to the line. He's sitting there trying to get everyone back onto the line as far as Caleb Williams. And, after the game and everything, he launches the ill-fated pass to Adunze with the phantom PI, by the way. I mean, he was basically giving him a piggyback ride on the way to the end zone. And it should have been another play. It was not. And then when you sit there and you listen to what he says, like he just brushes it off. I don't know if it's because of what happened to me and you talked briefly about this. Ever since the Washington game, he's kind of like in a different realm at this point. Like, just doesn't care anymore. And
it's like he's lost it. Like if he ever had it.
Well, it's like, okay, so he's getting fired in the midst of a 6-game losing streak. 3 of those games were coaching decisions. I mean, you discussed it earlier. He had 3 timeouts before the Hail Mary attempt in the Washington game. Did not use one to get his defense set up. Why? You don't need to have a quarterback spy. Jaden Daniels is not going to try to scramble 60 yards for a touchdown.
No.
Then you had the Green Bay debacle, and then you had.
I mean, he could have. That would have been hilarious. 60-yard scramble for the end zone. Can you imagine if he made it?
And it's on the players at that point. It's on the players at that point. But
yeah,
it's just we got flused. We got flused hard.
What does flused mean?
We are not going to discuss that because we're trying to go PG-13.
We're trying to be more, yeah. It's sad because I actually think legit that you guys, because it's not the Jets, I'm sorry, they don't win a lot of games. Hey, Murph. And hey, Jason. Here's my problem. And hopefully I sound good with the mic. I scored a new microphone setup. I haven't gotten to set up yet. I just got back on Friday and been nonstop busy with the wife. So and saw Gladiator. That was fun. But okay, back to the Bears thing. I think you guys might be the best bad team in the NFL right now because you play everybody good. Like you played the Lions close, should have won, could have won, could have beat the Packers or at least pushed it to overtime, but should have won that game. That was the one y'all definitely should have won. But the Commanders, those are 2 gimme wins that were given away. And I know the Commanders have been sliding, but the Packers are really good. The Lions are probably the best team in the NFL, and the Commanders are a playoff team currently. That's 3. And you guys have been competitive in most of your games, other than that stupid Pats game, which still doesn't make any sense to me. That's my take. I don't know if you wanted to go further with it, because
I mean, it at this point, you're kind of looking at like some of the other things that I actually wrote down was the fact that, Santos had a career long of 55 yards. If they were to actually attempt a field goal in Detroit, it would have been 56. What's one more yard? Just try something. Don't sit there on the sidelines with your hands folded and just simply put it on your quarterback. Just say it's his fault why we lost this game. You don't do that as the head coach. You're the leader. You're supposed to be able to do this. And, he's a good defensive coordinator. He'll get another job somewhere else, but he's going to be basically in the same line as Josh McDaniels of head coaching in my eyes because he just can't get it done.
Nope.
Even Ryan Poles said, the reason why he got fired is because he keeps coming up short. And when you're going 14-32 in a 3-year span, less than 3 years, that's saying you need to go. So,
and with this talent on this roster, if they can get the right head coach, they might actually figure this out. They were starting to get Caleb going, but head coaching is so important in the NFL. That's one of the reasons the Packers have been able to weather the transition from Rodgers to Love successfully. Now we're back-to-back winning seasons with a brand new QB. Not brand new. I know he sat for 3 years, but it's because we got LaFleur. The Vikings have been able to transition from Kirk Cousins to Sam Darnold because they got Kevin O'Connell. Look at the Lions. Campbell's made them a contender. You guys are the only team. You got to get that coach, and then this will be that division that we all wanted it to be because 3 of the teams are already there. I think there's a chance with this interim coaching change, you guys get 3 or 4 wins here. You won't make the playoffs, but I think that they have the talent to be relevant now. If the interim can get that interim spike for a couple games, you guys might steal a few wins here.
Yeah, and there's a possibility that the Bears will actually be able to break some hearts in some ways, but also at the same time, it's also like what I said about earlier before the season started is it's not this year I'm looking to, it's the next year. And as far as coaching candidates for the Bears, I know that some of them are looking at Marcus Freeman from Notre Dame. Ben Johnson is the one that I would be really big on as far as offensive coordinator from Detroit because it does a known commodity. If he could do that with Goff, imagine what he could do for Williams. And you're also taking a key piece of that Detroit mantra away from them. So I think really they should try to go with Johnson or another NFL offensive guru that will be popping up soon. Not Mike McCarthy, though.
Oh, you'd be mad if you guys hired Mike McCarthy from the Cowboys?
He's not getting hired. I've heard Mike Vrabel coming in there. And
that'd be fun.
That would be good.
Fun. Hey, Peter, we missed you, dude. We're going to have to do a show soon. And Janae, thanks for popping in. I agree with Jason. You just don't leave your rookie quarterback. That was so bad you nailed it earlier. In the Packer game to not play to get more yards. But then, dude, you can't let the rookie. I bet he thought the clock was stopped. He was so worried about getting everybody set up. He's a rookie. You got to protect him there, and he didn't. And that's just a complete failure of duty. It's like, this is one of those things a head coach just has to be able to do competently when there's so many good coaches in the NFL. And he just nailed it. He just missed it, dude.
Well, and they also talk about, that, Lance Briggs, I actually read up a couple of different articles preparing for this. And he was actually quoted in saying that from everyone from Trestman on back, John Fox, Trestman, all those coaches, even not Lovie Smith, but a lot of them really don't know how to handle the Chicago media. And, when you go on there and you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing,
that's a good point.
You're going to get beat up. So
it's almost like coaching in Philly, because Chicago, they want their teams to be good. I mean, man, I know they haven't really been there for a minute, but the Cubbies finally winning that World Series meant a lot. The Bears getting that one in the 80s meant the world. But then Jordan lifted that city and showed them what it can be like when you're getting consistent winning. Yeah. And it's one of the best sports. I'm saying this as a Packers fan, because I think mine when we're winning is amazing.
It's a great sports city.
It's a great sports city. It really is. Dallas is becoming a really good sports city. They are not the Cowboys, but I actually think if the Cowboys steal a couple more wins, Mike McCarthy might earn himself some more years with the Cowboys, because Jerry's a sucker. I really think it's possible. I do. They're 5-7. Not that they're going to make the playoffs, but if they get like to 8-9 with this roster, he might give McCarthy another year. It's Jerry.
As far as Dave,
that's interesting. Yeah, we can talk Cowboys. We talk. It's too much Cowboys talk. Belichick. That's an interesting one.
You want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
If Bill Belichick still had it, you would be so happy, even though you want an offensive mind. You just don't know if he still has it, right?
Oh, I'm pretty sure he still has it. I mean,
he
just doesn't know how to develop offensive talent. And I mean, you look at the quarterbacks that he's had and everything. Bill Belichick is arguably the greatest coach of all time, but you're going to need someone new, fresh, that can actually relate to the players. And no, I think that Bill Belichick's ego would really be something that you don't want to see in Chicago. You kind of have to have that mentality. He has the mentality of a put your head down, do your job, and everything like that. I would love that part, but he's also 71 years old. And, you got to think about that. How long is he going to be still coaching? Is he going to be like Joe Pa, who coached into his 80s? Or is he going to basically do just enough to get that record from Don Shula and then coast off into the sunset?
I think he's going to do that and continue broadcasting, because he's actually been pretty fun with it. I think he's been better than Brady recently, even though he's not doing play-by-play. But I agree with
like how he's been with the Manning boys. So
I got a topic for you. Okay. Yep. I want to figure out how many teams actually could do this. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
How many teams right now could you see, and we'll run through them, how many teams could you see legitimately win the Super Bowl? If you want to we'll hit the comments after this. Yeah. I agree with Jason. I like this comment really quick. That's a good one. Good job, Janae. I like that. Anyways, yeah, we're getting there too. Anyways, okay. How many teams could possibly, if they got every break, could you see winning the Super Bowl? I think we should run through them from like most likely down until we're not like there's just no scenario. So, Detroit Lions, most likely. Like, I can even pull up the Super Bowl odds to make it fun. Let's check it out, actually. Super Bowl odds. I bet the Lions are still number one. Yeah, they have plus 300 odds. So, I think we both can agree that the Lions would probably they could win it.
They have the best chance right now.
The next team is the Philadelphia Eagles at plus 500. I can still see them winning it.
I can. I don't have them as 2.
I actually have the Bills as 2. I think when I made my, I think I had the Bills.
I actually just submitted my NFL power ranking, so
I was still playing with it for tomorrow, and I think the Bills, I've got them 2. But this Eagles team with Saquon, there's something about it when you've got a guy this hungry, it can lead you to a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
If the defense can carry and if Hurts cannot make mistakes, I could see it. But I agree with you. So we're both saying definitely the Bills are probably the best team out of the AFC right now. And we both have the Eagles. So we could legitimately see those three teams, right?
Yep.
Okay, next on Super Bowl odds is the Kansas City Chiefs. I think even at 11-1, even the way they're playing, we both can see it, right? So we're 4 teams. I wanted to see how far we'd get. I was listening to this earlier. Baltimore Ravens are still 5th. Can you see it? Or do you think they just have too many things going on?
I think Pittsburgh has a better chance than Baltimore.
I think I'm with you because the Justin Tucker thing and the lack of a pass D, and there's something from Lamar Jackson in big games. I got to see it. Like I actually believe more in Josh Allen right now than I do Jackson. So I'm with you. So I'm actually with you. I think it's. Is there any scenario you can see Baltimore winning it if everything broke?
No.
Okay, I'm with you actually. So I'm at 4. The next team, you're going to hate this. Guess who it is?
No.
They're 6th. Packers.
I mean, I could.
What if Jordan Love does what he did the second half of last season? The defense keeps improving.
If Jordan Love can play like he did yesterday, then it's possible. But right now, I just think y'all are just a little too far out. I think you're getting there. I just don't think you're there yet.
I think we have a better chance than the Ravens, actually.
Oh, I would say you have a better chance than the Ravens. I'm just not real big on Lamar Jackson.
The biggest concern for me isn't actually Jordan Love. It's can we stop a Saquon Barkley in that Lions running game in the playoffs? That's really it. And it's actually improved, but historically that's something we suck at. Can we, and even against the Texans, Mixon had his way when we shut down Stroud. Can we stop the run game? I think we have the talent. I'm just not sure if it's mature enough. So I'm going to say yes as a homer, but I get why you're saying no. I don't think it's likely at all. Okay.
And I'm not saying it because I'm a Bears fan. I'm saying it as a football
guy. Good. Okay, so you got 4 teams. I got 5. What about the Minnesota Vikings are next on the odds? Any world? For me, no.
No, it's they're a great story, and I like what Sam Darnold's been able to do this year. You know, he definitely should be in the running for comeback player of the year. But something's going to happen. And I mean, they're 10-2 right now. They're going to make the playoffs. It's not even a bubble team at this point, but I just think that when, you know, they're playing a 4th place schedule right now, and so that's going to help them out a little bit with some of these W's. Yes, the division games are coming up and everything like that. We get them again soon. But yeah, I think that really.
I feel like the Kansas City Chiefs of the NFC. The only difference is they have Justin Jefferson and Addison, so they're a little bit more explosive, but they're not blowing anybody away. The Packers' point differential right now is actually better than them, and I know they beat us early in the season, but I think we'd take them right now. I just don't see it with Darnold. I'd be, even though they're 10-2, they just feel like a notch below those best teams.
And you know, and we brought this up when we did the NFC North show where we had John from SI and Shelby from the Skull Queen, and one of the things that I pointed out was that they had issues with keeping leads. Like in the second half, it's like they just dropped the ball, and they say, okay, well, you know, we're playing this game, we're ahead right now, let's go ahead and take the foot off the gas. No, that's when you really just need to step on the jugular. So that's just my take on that.
Okay, I'm going to go a little bit further. Let's see until we get to the point where we're both like, nah, no way. Your next team is 8th, is the Steelers.
I could see that.
I actually can if Russ is going to play like this. You caught me 2 days ago, I would have said no. Right now, I'm thinking, shoot, man, maybe. If you can get vintage Russ, and they're tailoring that offense like the Seahawks did. It's a really boomer bust offense because Russ isn't that great at the intermediate passing game because he's shorter. And now he can't move outside the pocket, but he still is a good vertical thrower, deep thrower. And they're tailoring the offense that way. And that's why you're getting some games where he can out-duel Joe Burrow, and they've got a defense. If the running game can just be solid, I'm with you, man. I'm at 6, then you're at 5. And I think here's probably where we're going to say no anymore, but the Chargers are 9th. I would say no. I don't see it. They don't have the weapons on offense. Like the defense, like the run game, like the coach, like the quarterback. I just can't see them making a run all the way to the Super Bowl this season.
They're close, but
they're close. It's kind of like the Packers. It's like a year away.
Yeah, no, they're close, but I mean, in some ways, I mean, I know that you're not a Justin Herbert guy, whereas I am, and I think he's really starting to show people what he's capable of doing. I mean, he has 13 touchdowns to 1 interception. I mean, he's balling with that receiving core, and it's just one of those things. He doesn't have a great running game. He's got Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins, who was a free agent steal for the Chargers this past offseason.
Yes, he was.
He's pretty much the centerpiece. And if anything, a lot of people always talked about with Herbert was that, well, he has Keenan Allen, he has Mike Williams, he has all these weapons. But if he didn't have these weapons, how good could he be? And he's shown it right now by throwing 13 touchdowns, 1 interception, and that's just mind-boggling if you really think about it in the NFL. No one has quite those stats, and he has a really good completion percentage as well.
Yep. And that's why this second half, this stretch run is interesting, because the reason why I threw the Packers in there is because LaFleur's got them playing well in December every year. He's like one of the best December coaches in the NFL. And I'm curious how important coaching is going to be down this stretch, because I think that's why you're seeing a Broncos team in playoff contention with a rookie QB, because Peyton still is a solid coach. And you're seeing teams like the Steelers. You've got Harbaugh with the Chargers. You got some of these teams. I'm curious how they're going to look in a month, because we're not there yet. My dad has made the point consistently that the Lions are peaking too early, and that they may have peaked too early, because it's hard to sustain that.
It is tough. And I mean, the thing is that you don't want to peak too early to where you're going to wash out. Now, that is one of the big problems that I actually think that Detroit may run into. And Shelby actually brought this up in a different post, but and go check her out. Shelby tweeting, she's on X and everything like that. Very knowledgeable.
Oh yeah.
But one of the things that they do is with Detroit is they leave their starters in really late into the games, even during blowouts. And if you do that, you're going to have them susceptible to injury. And they're starting to get beat up pretty bad now. So as the season goes on, in fact, your guys are going to be playing the third game in 13 days. This coming Thursday. So
true. And the Lions are getting beat up on D. They keep losing guys. Injuries, man, it's a war of attrition, and it matters. Okay, so we both said yes on. We both said no on the Chargers. I don't think I'm going to go any further. Shockingly, the Texans are 10th. I don't see it.
No.
Tampa Bay is 11th. That's the weirdest team in the league, where they beat the Lions and they can beat anybody, but they also can lose to anybody.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's any more teams. I'm losing. Like the Broncos are after that. The Seahawks, Commanders, Rams, Falcons, Cardinals, 49ers. I can't see any of them. So, okay. So I had the Lions, Eagles, Bills, Chiefs, Packers, Steelers. So I had 6 and you had 5. Okay, cool. It was just a little game I wanted to play. Awesome. Yeah, I'm excited for that game. BBB. That's going to be. Oh, I want to talk it later. All right, man. What you got for me? You want to do some buy or sell?
We can actually do some buy and sell if you would like to.
Yeah. We got the little snippet thing?
We do. Sometimes we agree with it and sometimes we don't. This is buy or sell.
That's cool.
All right. So today we're going to be doing a little buy and sell on bubble playoff teams. We already kind of talked about who is possibly the contenders and everything like this. Well, let's go ahead and bring out the pretenders, the ones that we think are just going to be the team that gets in the playoffs and just stays in the playoffs. And this is going to be a yes or no. And, pretty much already omitted a few teams that I've omitted. And of course, the Bills, Eagles, Lions, and Chiefs. And I went ahead and said, they're going to go to the playoffs, folks. And you could say the Vikings too. I mean, they're going to be in the playoffs as well. I mean, if you're a double-digit win right now, you're going in the playoffs. All right, Peter.
I think the Packers are too.
Oh yeah. I mean, I wouldn't really consider them a bubble team. The bubble teams that we have, and I have it sectioned off between AFC and NFC. AFC, buy or sell the Indianapolis Colts. They're only one game behind the Texans.
I think I'm going to sell. let's look at their schedule, actually. That's the most important thing. They've got the Broncos next week, the Titans, the Giants, and Jags. Ooh, that's interesting. They could easily win 3 of those 4. And if they can steal a game at Denver, damn. They could actually sneak in, and they've got one of the most athletic quarterbacks. But this dude can't throw. So is the question, do I buy them making the playoffs, or I buy them as like actually making noise?
I am making the playoffs. There's going to be one playoff team if you were to actually look at who's all there right now.
Yeah, I'm looking at
AFC, you got the Steelers and Ravens, which I already kind of see them going into the playoffs too, and the Chargers. So that's 5 teams.
If the Broncos steal this win tonight, they're up to 8-5. But then they've got the Colts, Chargers, Bengals, and Chiefs. You know what? I think I do buy the Colts because that slate for the Broncos, even though they've got some talent on D and Nix is playing much better, that's a murderer's row right there. They have to go to the Chargers. They have to go to the Bengals, which they could steal that win. So that's 9. But then they're going to have to go beat the Chargers or beat the Chiefs. And they should have beaten the Chiefs early this season, but that's going to be brutal, man. What are they, 7-5? So if they beat the
Broncos are another team.
It's really come down to if they beat the Colts or not, because they might lose their last 3 games. That's rough, dude.
Just look at the Colts, because the Broncos were one of the bubble teams I have too.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna go and say
it's
weird. I don't buy the team, but I like their schedule, so I buy that. Not a big fan of this team. Steichen's really fallen off as a coach this year. Richardson is one of the most erratic throwers in the league. Gosh, they can't like do much of anything. It's kind of sad. But because their schedule, I'm gonna go and say bye.
Okay. I won't sell because of the simple fact that I'm not a big Anthony Richardson person. I think that he's the type of player that in a right system will do really well, but he is still a project player. I mean, they went to Falco for a reason. So I'm going to be selling the Colts. What are you eating?
Cookies. Peanut butter M&M.
Nice. So the next team, you kind of already like drifted into them, the Broncos, buy or sell.
So you know what's funny is I like them way better as a team. It's going to come down to that Colts game, because if they get that one, they'll have the tiebreaker and they'll be at 9 wins. So that's just such a tough slate at the end of the season, because they've got to play. They play the Broncos. They play the Browns tonight in Denver. They play the Colts in Denver. Then they go to the Chargers. They go to the Bengals, and they play the Chiefs at home. That's a tough ending to the season. I'm going to flip my answer, actually. I'm going to go ahead and say sell in the Colts, because I believe in this Bronco team more. I do think they're going to sneak in. I think Nix is a playoff quarterback as a rookie. Is an awesome story. This dude has been legit. It's fun for me. It touches home for me, because my aunt, who died in January, was a huge Broncos fan, so I wish she could have seen this guy as a Bronco. So I'm rooting hard for him. So I'm going to go ahead and say bye the Broncos. And that's a personal one for me. They're becoming like one of my sneaky favorite teams. And in that old Bronco retro jersey, kind of reminded me of Elway a little bit, that one game. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like the retro ones. And the last team that I actually had, now I did go ahead and put this out on Twitterverse last week. And they lost this past Thursday, but I actually said that the Dolphins have a really good chance of sneaking in there. Go ahead and look at that schedule.
It's brutal. It's so easy, isn't it?
It is extremely easy. I mean, y'all were basically the toughest game they got. And it was like,
So they could sneak up to 10 wins, huh?
Yes.
They're 5-7, but they're going to have to rip off all 5. So they've got talent, but what's annoying about them, my wife's sending me messages. What's funny about them is they've got the talent, but they can't run the ball. Even though Kane is solid, they've struggled to run the ball all season. They actually don't have a 100-yard rusher on the season. I'm looking at their stats right now. A Kane week 8 at 97 yards. He had another one over 90. They haven't had a 100-yard rusher all season. That's the opposite of what made them successful last year when they were the Cowboys of the AFC, a good team that beats bad teams and can't beat anybody good. And that's kind of been them this year too. They I mean, they don't have a signature win on the season other than if you count the Rams, and I don't. We pretty much handled them. I mean, Tua had 365 yards, but a lot of them were garbage time. Mostert only 19 rushing yards. Packer rush D has been alive. And I know the Dolphins aren't like world beaters, so we're going to find out this week, but we kind of throttled them. I think they get a win at the Jets. I think there's a good chance they get a win at the 49ers. I think they beat the Jets twice. So that gets them to 8 wins. The question is, can they beat the 49ers and the Browns? And I don't trust this team to rip off 5. So I'm going to say no, actually. Yep. I don't think they make it. I think they'll get to 9, and I think it depends on who gets that tiebreaker. But I think the Broncos are going to get it. I do.
It's a very possible with the Broncos. Their schedule is stupid easy too. And you look at the Texans, they're not exactly killing it as well. And, that's one of those 5 games that they will be playing in it. If I didn't already go all in on it and with that prediction, I would say no way. But you know what? I got to stick with it. I'm still going with the Dolphins sneaking in as the 7th seed.
Good for you. I'm proud of you sticking to your guns, even though you don't believe it.
I
love it. You don't fully believe it. I can tell. You're like, I'm not buying this team at all.
So the NFC.
I had a question I posted on Twitter today, a fast one.
What?
It's the one I told you about. I posted it like 30 minutes before the show. Is Aaron Rodgers the worst quarterback in the NFL right now, or is it Kirk Cousins? And people got mad at me, but I'm like, okay, take the pedigree out. Has Rodgers been a good starting quarterback this season by any metric? Not just team success. Has he actually been good? Like, I can pull up the dude's stats, but like they've been 0-5 in the 5 games that they had a chance to win down the stretch.
I won't say no.
I don't think he has been. I think if we're being honest and fair here, the dude sucked.
Oh, no, he sucks, but I don't think he's the worst quarterback.
But right now, because a lot of the guys that were, it's probably still Anthony Richardson, but Daniel Jones has been benched. Will Levis got benched. So
Jameis Winston?
He's actually put up some solid stats for him. That's a funny thing.
I mean,
Rodgers' stats don't look terrible. He's at 2,600 yards, which is low.
Okay, well,
but he has 19 TDs, 8 picks, but he's missing key plays that are important in the course of the game. He's not making those plays anymore.
Well, I mean, he's 41 years old. I mean, and me and you talked about this already earlier today. I mean, you look at him and Kirk, those are 2 quarterbacks that are in basically they're already putting a saddle on the horse, looking at the sunset and about to ride off into it. It's you look at what they have at quarterback. I mean, the Raiders, you got Drew Lock over for the Giants. I mean, that's a pretty pathetic situation as well.
Oh yeah, you're right. That's a good one. Maybe that's too far to go worst. But gosh, he's got.
Oh no, he's in the bottom 5, right? I mean, he's got what 19 touchdowns, 7 or 11 interceptions, or something like that. He's definitely
19 picks, 19 TDs, 8 picks. Let's see how many fumbles. Hold on. He's no fumbles lost, 19 TDs, 8 picks. He's gotten sacked 28 times. QBR, his rating is 88. He's only completing 62.5. Those are down for him, though. And with these weapons, I'm sorry, with Devontae Adams now and Garrett Wilson, and with Breece Hall and Braylon Allen, that's kind of unacceptable. Even at his age. But I think he's coming off an Achilles, and I just think he's just not what he was. And he wasn't what he was 2 years ago with us. I saw it then, even though he didn't have weapons. I saw the drop off 2 years ago. Now he's 41 coming off an Achilles. So, what about Kirk Cousins, though? Do you think he should get benched for Penix?
Not yet.
Another game or 2?
Yeah, you want to see what else he can do because, I mean, for every game that he's had like this, now this was a really bad one. He's done it before anyway as a Minnesota Viking. But you look at what he was able to do a couple weeks ago against I think it was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, where he threw over for 500 yards and like 3 touchdowns or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think he's getting there, but I think it would be wise for him to just ride it on out.
Well, while we're on the topic, then who is the worst quarterback right now in the NFL? Is it Drew Lock? Is it? See, the funny thing is, I feel like Jameis is actually he's Jameis. He's going to make mistakes, but he's actually made some solid passes. The Broncos got Bo Nix now. Jameis has actually made that offense way more sustainable. It's been kind of fun to watch. Burrow's been on fire for the Bengals. They just suck. Kyler's actually been solid for the Cardinals. They could have won that game if Gannon wasn't so damn conservative. Geno Smith has actually had a resurgence this year. He's not going to win comeback player of the year, but he's been pretty good. Dak's out, so you can't count him. Lawrence he was pretty bad, actually. I don't know.
Lawrence just got beat up, has a concussion now, so he's going to be gone for a little bit. Right now, if you were to actually line up all the starters and everything, yeah, I would say Drew Lock is pretty much it. I mean, you can make the argument I'm not a big Geno Smith person either, but at least he moves the ball. And in all honesty, the only reason why Seattle won that game is because of that one interception thrown by Aaron Rodgers too.
Oh no, exactly. And Baker's been balling. The Bucks are really only competent because of him. Purdy's been okay. Yep. The team hasn't been, but it's not his fault. You can't really blame it on him. Derek Carr? Can I give you Derek Carr?
You can give me Derek Carr. Derek Carr is he's up there with Daniel Jones, and as far as biggest bust, as far as like a $160 million no, don't do this again. I mean,
can you imagine getting paid that much to suck? Man, that's depressing. I mean, it's nobody in the NFC North. Caleb's been really solid considering the circumstances. He could be better, obviously, but he
could be inconsistent at times, but he's very consistent in the second half.
Jaden's been, he's had his ups and downs too. Jameis, since he's gone in, has 7 TDs, 4 picks. It's not bad. That might be down. Might be missing the last game. Russ has been good for the Steelers.
Well, Jameis is playing the Broncos tonight, so we'll see that interception total go up.
Darnold has been solid too. Not great. He's had his moments that haven't been good, but he's got the team 10-2, so you can't say him. He's been all right. He's been pretty good, actually. He has over 20 TDs on the season already. Drake May has shown flashes. I can't say him. Considering the circumstances, he's actually been pretty damn good. I'm starting to lean into Anthony Richardson and Derek Carr territory here. Even Andy Dalton he's actually been, he got benched again, but you can't see him because he's not starting.
But Bryce Young is really good the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, he has. He's starting to look good, so I can't even go Bryce Young anymore. I'm starting to think.
Got to take away all those crutches, man.
It would have been Will Levis had he been starting, but he's not.
Well, I mean, you hear some ridiculousness like with what the Raiders are talking about, how they want to run it back with Aiden O'Connell. Look, if you want to be a Super Bowl contender, you're not going to run it back with Aiden O'Connell. All right,
Aiden O'Connell, he's pretty bad, honestly.
Yeah. So I mean, I would rather have Aiden O'Connell over Drew Lock, but
so we got some fun contenders here. We got a Drew Lock. We got Derek Carr. This is great. I love this. This is a fun activity. You want to hit the buy or sells for the NFC?
Yeah, we'll go ahead and hit that. I'll just say that if I was a GM and I had a top 10 pick, there is no way in hell that I would be picking Anthony Richardson.
Oh my God.
And I said that before then. I said it now, and I'll say it forever. I just do not trust him because I got to watch him firsthand what he did in Florida. So, all right. So the NFC, Jason, who is the worst quarterback, Jason? Can you tell me?
And I agree with Jason's point about the Dolphins. They are not a cold weather team. No, apparently, neither are the San Francisco 49ers last night proved with that Bills game. The Bills proved they looked like to me like if they can snag the 1 seed, they're going to the Super Bowl. That's what that looked like.
Would you say that the 49ers window is closed?
Oh, that is a good question I was thinking about. Yeah, I do think so. Because McCaffrey's done, and I like Mason, but there's a drop-off. Unless Garendo can be it and can be close to what CMC was, but he's such a special player. He might be done, man. He's like 29, coming off a major injury again, unless they can get him back. But now you're going to lose. You paid Ayuk. And he looked like straight keeping garbage. They probably can't keep Debo. They're going to lose some pieces on D. It might be like the Bills where they retool, but it won't be with the same roster. I do think give them a couple years, they might come back. But no, they're not going to be a contender this year next. I don't think so.
No. All right. So the NFC bubble teams, and, we talked about who is omitted already. I guess you'll say the Packers too, because they're 9-3. They should make the playoffs at this point. If they don't, oh my God.
Oh, you're never going to hear the end of it from me. I'm actually I'm not trying to be overconfident here, but we do have a tough schedule, but we get the Saints, so that should be a win. We're at 10 right there. And we've got, hold on, I had it up.
So, folks, 2 weeks ago, we decided to take a break, and Isaac straight up told me, he said if the Bears would have won that game, he would have dreaded coming on the show because of me.
And it almost happened.
Almost.
But in all fairness, the Bears just almost beat the Lions.
So, yeah, that's true.
So we go to Detroit, we go to Seattle. At Seattle could be tough, but we could take them. We have the Saints in Green Bay. That should be a win. So that's 10. Then we go to Minnesota. I'm hoping we can steal that one, but that could be another loss. Then we get the Bears. Yeah. So I'm thinking at least 11 wins out of that. But we're at 9.
Maybe so 12. NFC bubble teams. Now this one's a little bit towards greatness.
Game,
first bubble team, buy or sell, Atlanta.
I gotta look at their schedule. I like the Bucs better than them, but the Bucs have lost twice, so now they have to outright get ahead of the Falcons to win that division. Because I don't think you're going to get 2 NFC South teams. They're both 6.
The remaining schedule.
Okay.
Vikings, at Vikings, at Raiders. They bring home the Giants. Then they go to the Commanders, and then they have the Panthers. So 3 away, 2 home.
Damn, I want to know the Bucs schedule.
I'm gonna. They're one of the next ones, but focus on this team for right now.
I'm gonna go ahead and say sell. I don't buy it. I think it's Kirk Cousins. I don't think this is going to get better as the season goes on. I think it's going to be harder for him. I mean, he's my age, but coming off a major injury at my age in the NFL, I'm not a spring chicken. I'm 36. I'm his age. And it's looking like he's losing it slowly as they're going. They don't have a pass rush. They don't know how to use Bijan appropriately. And if basically they're kind of down to if Kirk doesn't roll, there isn't a lot left. The rest of that defense isn't bad, but dude, no, I think Baker's going to make the playoffs. So no.
So, because you said it, Tampa Bay, buy or sell, they will be playing at home against the Raiders. They go to the Chargers and Cowboys. Then they come back to the Panthers and Saints.
Oh yeah, give me the Bucs.
Well, that'll be your division winner right there. Then,
if they were healthy, they're that team. Like if they had Godwin, if they could get everybody healthy and stay healthy, they're that one team I wouldn't want to play if I was anybody because they're weirdly not afraid of anybody. They're the team that could play up to anybody in the NFL and can play down to anybody in the NFL. Baker he's a good quarterback, but that's a weird team.
Yeah, they also dealing with some injuries and everything like that. If they could have a little more consistency running the ball, then Lord knows what they'll be able to do.
Jeez,
all right. So now we have the Seattle Seahawks, which I'll just tell you straight out, I'm a seller of them anyway, as long as they have Geno Smith as their quarterback. But the next 5 games that they will be at the Cardinals. Then they play your Green Bay Packers, and then they play the Minnesota Vikings. Then they go to Soldier Field to take on the Bears. Then they play the Rams. That's a brutal one right there.
That's a tough slate. I don't know if
Don't tap the mic.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Sorry. Dang, you can hear all that. That's crazy. I'm not used to it. I'm thinking, so I'm like, that's a good mic. I agree with Mr. First Down. I was down on Baker too, man. I really was. Okay, but on the Seahawks, this is a tough one because not a big fan of this team. But what is that division winner going to look like? Is that division winner even going to be 10-7? I'm going to sell.
Crazy thing,
I'm going to sell. I actually think the Cardinals are going to win that division. I'm going to sell.
Okay. Yeah, the crazy thing about the West right now, and the reason why I put two teams in with the South is there's no clear-cut division winner right now. So we have three teams in the West that are representing this bubble, and the next one is going to be your Arizona Cardinals.
And I was just there too.
I'm sorry. The Rams. Sorry.
Oh, the Rams? Okay. Oof.
So
the problem is I think you're only getting – I think that you're going to – it depends on if the Commanders keep sliding because they could open up a door for the 7th seed, and you could have a second team in the NFC West or the South because you're going to have the Lions, Packers, and Bears – or sorry, Lions, Packers, and Vikings are all going to make it. You're going to have those three. You're going to have whoever wins the South. You're going to have the Eagles. That's 5. So that only leaves 2 spots. But
and most likely, I think the Commanders will take that one. But you also have – you just kind of reminded me you got the 2 division winners. So basically, this is coming down to who's going to win this division. And the Rams play the other 3 division teams. They play the Bills first, which, I mean, they're the Rams. They do pretty good against good teams. Then they got the 49ers. They're going to San Francisco for that. Then they go to the Jets. Then they take on the Cardinals and Seahawks at home.
That's tough, man. This Rams team.
I mean, 4 division games in the last 5 games is crazy.
So let's say they beat the Seahawks.
Or 3, not bad.
Jesus, they play the Bills. Okay, let's say they beat the Jets. Let's say they beat the Seahawks. That's 8. Can they go beat the 49ers, a desperate team?
And there's only 1 game difference between last place and first place in the West.
Yeah. Oh, 2 games. You got 7-5 Seahawks and the 5-7 49ers. But
they
only
did
2
not
games.
Make this shit yet.
No, I know. I'm going to go ahead and say, even though I like the Rams, I was leaning towards them as my division winner. I'm going to say they don't because I think the Commanders, being 2 games ahead, are going to steal that 7 seed, and the Packers or the Vikings will be the 6 and the 5. I'm going to go and say the Rams. I'm going to sell. It's not really on them. It's more I just think the Cardinals have a higher ceiling. They're going to win the division. And the Rams are about to lose at the Bills.
And I'm going to agree with you because you look at what the Cardinals have left. They have, so I'm buying the Cardinals. They had the Seahawks, then the Patriots, then the Panthers, then the Rams, and then the 49ers, and they're away for the Panthers and Rams. So
this is tough. You're throwing me. These are fun because this is challenging. I'm having to work through this on the moment because these are tough schedules. These divisions are completely up for grabs. Honestly, I mean, if the 49ers came back and won that division, it wouldn't even shock anybody that much because that's who we thought was going to win it all along. I don't see it happening, but it wouldn't be that most shocking thing. I love that comment. That was great.
Yeah,
so
I like that.
So my division winner,
Titans fan too.
Yeah, he's cool. I want to get him on someday. It's a rare Monday that we're going on, so yeah. He does shows Tuesdays as well. Oh, dude, the 49ers both just lost McCaffrey and Mason for the season.
Well, they'll be getting someone else this draft.
Isaac Correndo.
And real quick, Mr. First Down, you could just tell us on the chat, is Will Levis going to be your future quarterback for the Tennessee Titans?
Next year, even. Just next year.
So, but yeah, that's pretty much it with the bubble teams.
I got some stuff. I don't know what else you got, but okay, well,
I know you wanted to talk about the upcoming battle between the Packers and Lions.
Well, before we do that, I want to talk to you about the Eagles-Ravens game.
Yeah, go for it.
What was your, and I'm going to hit the bathroom while you do your take really quick, but what was your, I'll just lead in with this question. What was your take on that game? Do you see it as good Eagles, bad Ravens, or a little bit of both? And where do you see the teams going from here? I'll be right back while you go.
So I like how you asked me a question and just walk away. Just walk away.
Let's give it quick.
So if y'all want to also chime in on this, this is how I really feel about it, is that I saw a team, as far as the Eagles is concerned, that can really just dominate on offense. Barkley, in my opinion, is a contender for the MVP award. He might actually get it because, I mean, he's just had a phenomenal year, and he's had a couple of like whoa moments with the backwards hurdle, and of course the game before this where he busted out, as far as fantasy is concerned, 3 touchdowns. The Baltimore Ravens, they just struggle whenever they actually play against higher tier teams and everything like that. I know a lot of people feel like the Baltimore Ravens are a legit tough team, but they're not even the division leader in the division.
We got Boom Broadcasting here. This is another guy we eventually got to get on. He's really cool.
Yep.
Rivals getting along. Yeah, we do that all the time. I just occasionally annoy Med, and I'm like, we own the Bears, but he already knows that. I don't need to remind him that.
Yeah, he almost did not own us anymore. But
I know it was that close. You guys should have won that game, the Lion game, and the Commanders game. All 3.
Yeah, I agree. But as far as like what I told the viewers is that I think it was more of a good Philadelphia team. They're really starting to actually get their stuff down all together. Mm-hmm. They still just need a pass rush in my eyes. They really need to be able to actually rush the quarterback to really make that defense pop and to really get back to where I would consider them a Super Bowl. Well, they're a Super Bowl contender, but to really like justify it, I would say they need to get a pass rush.
That's kind of where I'm at with the Packers, but they can dial up blitzes and get pressure, and they've done it in some big games. But that's where I'm at with the Packers too. I wish they had another dude. The Steelers don't have that problem. Several other teams, even the Ravens, don't have that problem. But the Packers, that's a problem for them. The Vikings have been interesting. I'm curious, but yeah, we'll get on them in a minute. I have questions for you about the Vikings, but no, I'm with you on the Eagles. Like, I just think there's something that I think is missing, but they didn't lose just because of this. That's what's interesting. His kicks sucked, but Jackson was off, and the Eagles kind of imposed their will in the second half. Like, the Ravens didn't have anything going on offense until that last drive. I watched. The only quarter I missed was the second quarter. The Eagles they imposed their will on the Ravens, which was a signature win that they kind of needed to justify all this hype, not just on Saquon. And now I'm starting to think, if there was one team that could beat the Lions in the NFC, as much as I'd love my Packers to do it, I don't see the Vikings being it. I think it's Eagles. And I could actually see it happening because Saquon is such a beast.
And they have issues stopping the run at times.
The Lions do. And if Hurts is on, the Lions secondary can be had.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, you look at what the thing about the Ravens is, we talked about this at the beginning of the season, is that I felt like they lost a lot of leadership on their defense. And with Patrick Queen going up to the Pittsburgh and then Geno Stone going over to Cincinnati, I wasn't really big on Lamar Jackson. He hasn't proved that he can beat Mahomes in the playoffs. In fact, a lot of people have not been able to prove that. I mean, he's 15-3 in the postseason for a reason. It's magic time Mahomes in a lot of ways whenever playoffs come. And Tucker has missed 10 field goals already this year. So, I mean, it's kind of sad to see it because he is arguably the greatest kicker of all time. Even better than Adam Vinatieri, even better than
Morton Anderson.
I mean, he has done more than enough to really elevate wins with Baltimore Ravens, but it wasn't just Tucker missing 3 field goals because one of those was an extra point. It was the team as a whole. I mean, they just got beat up. And,
that's why I don't see them I just don't think they can do it. As much as I want to believe Henry and Jackson can, they've proven so many times this year they can't. I don't see them beating the Chiefs and Bills or the Steelers.
Well, outside of Zay Flowers, give me a competent wide receiver. I mean, you can say Mark Andrews, but he's tight end. You need to have that second compliment.
It's not Isaiah Likely because he can't get his feet down. It's weird because I think they have one of the highest ceilings in the NFL, but I don't think it's going to come through in the playoffs on the road. So they're going to have to get some home games, and that's not going to happen unless they win 4 in a row and get lucky.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they're going to go to Pittsburgh, go to Buffalo, go to KC. They're going to have to hope for some luck and some upsets in the first round. I just don't. That's so much stuff you're expecting for. That's why the Packers are probably a year away. But if they beat the Lions this week, things get interesting where they're getting. They could, I don't think it's going to happen. But we did beat them last year. But I mean, that's why the Vikings need to beat Detroit and get at home, because going to Detroit is going to be brutally difficult in the playoffs for everybody but Philly and apparently Tampa. So I don't know. I've got a lot of other stuff, but okay. What was your take on, really quick, of all the games? We could talk some Thanksgiving. We already kind of talked. The Packers imposed their will on the Dolphins.
Yeah.
I don't even want to talk about that stupid Cowboys game. They're not worth it.
Yeah. The only reason why the Cowboys won that was because they were playing the Giants.
Yeah. People at school were like, they were like, Cowboys Super Bowl. I was like, the Cowboys aren't making the playoffs. Shut up. Shut up. With Cooper Rush, with this team.
No. I mean, there was a couple of players that I didn't know that looked really well. I mean, notes wise, I mean, Dodo got his first 100-yard game. I mean, that's great for my team.
Look at that. They beat the Commanders. Good for them. Yeah. Good for the Cowboys since we've been gone.
No, the only thing that I actually saw from that game is the Marvion Overshow. He actually looks like he could be the Robin to Micah Parsons' Batman on that defense.
Possibly. I actually missed this game. I watched the Lions game. I watched the Packers on Thanksgiving.
You didn't miss
much. Yeah, my uncle turned off the Cowboys, and I was kind of sad about it for a minute because it was Thanksgiving, and then we just played Switch, and I had a blast. So I didn't miss much. I was flying when that stupid Chiefs game happened, so I missed it. And me and the wife were out hanging out. I hadn't seen her in a week. So I missed the Chiefs game. I heard all about it. They let the Raiders come back in it. They should have lost. They create new ways to barely win games. I don't understand this team. Like,
I was very close to saying that Aiden O'Connell was to Patrick Mahomes what Eli Manning was to Tom Brady.
You almost made it happen.
I was sitting there. I was like, it's going to happen. It's going
Got so close. How many do you think they're going to invent more new ways to win by the end of the season? Because I think they're just going to keep creating these. Like this team is the weirdest team I've ever seen. Like, what are they doing? They're making bettors furious. They never clear a line ever.
No, they don't. They just win games. Their defense, Spagnolia, if he's going to stay there for the next 5-6 years or whatever, I think he could possibly be the next Chiefs head coach. Whenever Andy Reid leaves.
How old is he?
Who, Reid?
No, Spagnola.
That's a good question.
Is he older than Reid? Dude, he's actually saying he's 65. He's 65 in a couple weeks.
And he was a coach for the Giants, or what? Yeah, the Giants.
Giants. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he turned 65 soon. I think he's just going to ride this out with Reid for a few more years and be the DC. At his age, might be easier.
Oh, he's a Hall of Famer.
Unless he wants to be head coach. But I mean, the defense. The weird thing is, the defense hasn't been that elite, and they don't have a guy that can stretch the field on offense, and they can't run the ball. But collectively, they weirdly do enough to stay in every game and figure it out. I just don't think that's going to work this year against the Bills, or in the Super Bowl against the Lions or the Eagles, or even against the Steelers if they're on their game. I just don't. Even the Ravens, if they play their A game, I think the Packers could have them right now. Not they're not playing in the Super Bowl, but I can list like 7 or 8 teams I think that could beat the Chiefs right now if they give them their A swing. The Chiefs, I know they can stay in these games, but I don't see it. I just don't.
If you always have number 15, you're always going to be in any game.
True story. That's true.
So
I think this is the year that he gets beat, but it happens to every great quarterback. Brady didn't win 3 in a row. Starr was the last guy to do it. That was in the 60s. So, yeah, in the NFL this year. That's a funny comment, Jason. I like that. In the NFL this season. Okay, so, yeah, let's talk it. Because I don't know how much else you had, and I don't want to – I know you're not feeling 100.
No,
so
I'm definitely
Lions.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's do it. I'm probably going to pick the Lions in my actual pick'ems. But, sorry, I won't tap the mic. I think that I think there's a legit chance we beat this team. They almost lost to y'all, but it's going to come down to the turnover battle. Whoever wins that, I think is going to win the game. If we gift the Lions another pick 6, show's over. If Love goes out and throws 2 picks, game's over. It doesn't matter. So can he protect the ball and continue doing what he's done the last 2 weeks and what he did at the end of last season? Mm-hmm. That's my question.
I think you're all going to win.
I think so too, actually. No, I'm about to pick him. That doesn't mean we're a Super Bowl contender, but this is a signature win we need, because if we can go then beat the Vikings, then we can threaten for the NFC North.
Well, I remember I joked with you when y'all lost against Detroit, and I said, "Man, I didn't know you could get smoked in the rain like that." But I mean,
in Lambeau,
Lambeau, yeah,
isn't a home field advantage for us in the playoffs. This happened to Rodgers the last few years. We get beat up when it's cold. I don't understand it.
Yeah,
I don't get it.
Well, the way that I look at it is, Jordan Love was injured. He was coming off an injury and everything like that. In all honesty, he should not have been playing in that game.
Hell no.
And as soon as he threw that interception, it was momentum shift just like that.
Mm-hmm.
You look at y'all's defense; it's vastly improving pretty quickly under Haffney. So I mean, it's just
Pete was wrong.
Yeah, Pete was probably wrong. It's been pretty impressive so far. Van Ness was able to play a really good game against the Dolphins. The defense is actually starting to come together, and I think really and truly, I know that the Detroit Lions. And I hope John is listening in when I say this. I know that they talk about being all grit, being that physical team and everything. And, your players like Jack Campbell like to take cheap shots at people's quarterbacks' knees. But when you punch the Detroit Lions in the mouth, they will stagger back. They still have a soft quarterback that is the benefit of having one of the better lines in the NFL. And once you actually get pressure on his candy butt, then you can beat that team easily.
And that's why I think we might bring it. We did last year, and I think we're going to be ticked off. They've beaten us 3 years in a row in Lambeau, and we're going to want to win this game big time. I think we're going to bring our A game. I really do. We did last year in around the same time. It was Thanksgiving. This is first few days of December. I think it's going to happen. I think we're going to hit Goff, and we're going to bring all those questions up about Goff if he can do it. I think it's possible. We got a hell of a team, honestly. If we blitz a little bit effectively, hold the line of scrimmage, we can win this game. We've been running the ball effectively.
Who did he throw 5 interceptions against and still won? I mean,
exactly. They didn't look great. They haven't actually looked that great recently against anybody good. They haven't. They beat up on a Tennessee team. I'm sorry, Mr. First Down, but damn, they suck.
You got a great defense, though.
We answered that second half. They didn't really dominate. We just couldn't get anything going on offense, but they didn't really do a lot on offense in that game. If you look at the stats, that first Lions-Packers game, they didn't do a lot. We kind of owned the game yardage-wise. If that happens again, odds are we're going to get one of these, or a good team is going to get one against Detroit, because it's hard to win when you keep getting out yardage by like 140 yards, which was what happened the first game. So we were behind and trying to score, but they didn't just wipe us out. So I think we actually can win this game. I might pick them. Bill might get mad at me. But
it's all about superstition. I will, if I don't watch the Bears play, they tend to do better.
Well, there you go. I got one more for you. And I don't know if you had any other topics, but I got one more. If it's not Josh Allen, who should win MVP?
Well, unfortunately, MVP has become a quarterback award the last few years. Last person that has won it that it was not a quarterback was Adrian Peterson way back in 2012, I believe.
Way too long. It should be Saquon, man.
It should be Saquon. I know some people are going to say Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson has just gotten beaten a couple times. 8-5 is not going to do it. I really do like Josh Allen as the potential winner of this award. It's just I agree with you, Dave.
I think so too, man.
Dave could tell you when you're talking about being a head coach, if you want to do that and everything, it's overrated. He could probably tell you that. Coordinator. I did defensive coordinator. I was like, nah, I'd rather be an assistant or something. But
that's probably what I would rather do too.
The top 5 right now is you got who wins coach of the year.
Jason's got a good question. We should hit that after MVP. I like that.
Yeah, we'll hit that too real quick.
Jason, good stuff, man.
I'm going to say Josh Allen simply because he's just been killing it. So I'll go with Josh Allen.
I agree. If it wasn't a quarterback, if the Ravens could get to 12 wins, you can make a good argument for Henry. But my problem with Lamar Jackson is he's 8-5 with Derrick Henry. That's not a good look. As good as he's been, I just don't like. You can't give it to the guy 3 times in a row. Yeah. Was he won it the last 2 times? No. Yeah. No, you can't do that. Or last year, you can't do it back to back when the team is worse with Derrick Henry. That should never be the case, especially a prime. This looks like a prime Derrick Henry. He's been awesome. So, I mean, the only other guy I think would be TJ Watt or Justin Jefferson if it wasn't a running back or a QB.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Right? Like AJ Brown's been good, but not quite. So it's JJ. Maybe Chase. It can't. The problem is it can't be Jamar Chase because the Bengals have been too bad. So nobody would consider that. So, okay, coach of the year. Ooh.
I already got mine in my chamber. Can I go ahead and unload them?
Yeah, man.
Give me Kevin O'Connell, Minnesota Vikings.
That's a good one.
I mean, you look at it, he's got Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold looks good right now. He's playing at Pro Bowl level in a lot of ways. Could possibly win that comeback of a player year award, which is, I think, what will happen. Especially with the fact that they lost their one of their top picks at the beginning of the season. So, I mean, you saw him for like one preseason game, and that was it. So, give me Kevin O'Connell.
I'm going to shock you.
Matt LaFleur.
No. Okay. I mean, I would love that, but no. AFC.
Okay.
I never would have said this guy last year, but he's done a lot with a young team.
Are you talking about?
I mean, I like Mike Tomlin, but give me Sean McDermott. The Bills have been looked great, dude. Like, I mean, for real, if they go 15-2 with the retooling they did on defense and that receiving core, I know he's got Josh Allen, but this team looks better after letting Diggs and Gabe Davis go. They look better. They retool on the fly. I like it. JB, I missed you. He's on Twitter again. We are going to bring him on in the offseason. I've talked to him about it a little bit. I'm hoping he'll agree. I've like almost got an agreement. So I'm hoping we can bring him on. But go check out Back It Up Binge. He's awesome. And Murph, when he launches his show, he'll be on with us next week. JB, this is gonna be fun. I'm gonna preview it really quick, Med. We are gonna have a 2-part college bowl pick'em panel with me, Med, Bill, Seth, Med's co-host on Shots, Murph, and Cowboy Reg next week. 2-parter. We're gonna hit all the bowl games.
Also, real quick, JB, David Murphy also is big on baseball, and I know you are as well. So y'all two need to link up one day.
Oh, he's on Twitter, JB. I'll send you his stuff if you don't see it right there. He's really cool. He came on a show last week. It was a lot of fun.
Talking about the Mets today. So
yeah. Dang, man, baseball. All right. That was, what's funny is I was talking to Bill. I was like, I want to talk some basketball and a little hockey in the spring because I've taken so many breaks during the season.
Yeah.
I kind of want to take a little break in February after the Super Bowl and then come back, do the, the draft stuff. And then I actually want to talk some NBA and a little hockey, but I was like, baseball, man, I don't know if I feel bad. JB's going to hate me for this. It's just so many games, but
it's a great game to watch in person.
In person, JB,
I'm locked in.
It's almost as cool as hockey. Hockey is a blast in person.
Oh, dude.
I love that Stars game was they sucked. They played terrible. They came back from 3-0 to make it 3-2. They lost 4-2, but it was a blast. I went to a Stars game 2 weeks ago. It was great. I posted all over Twitter. Cowboy Reg was happy. All right, you got any more topics?
No, sir. I am ready to go blow my nose.
Okay, I got one last one for you.
All right,
quick one. What's your Super Bowl? If I could talk. What is your Super Bowl prediction right now? Who plays?
I could see a Bills-Eagles.
I like that. I think it's going to be. Oh, that's good.
I know the obvious one would be me saying the Lions, but like we discussed earlier, there's just something that's going to happen. It's Detroit. Something's happening.
I'll go Steelers-Packers.
Ooh.
Rematch.
Yeah.
Tomlin will be the coach again. Can we get him 2 times? No, I think it will be the Bills. I don't know. This Lions team is good. I'll go Bills-Lions. In all seriousness. Gosh, I hope so. Jason, I just think we're a year away. As good as we are. But. If we play the way we did at the end of last year, we might be talking a different story in a few weeks. We'll see. Yep. Never know. We're good. I like the Josh Jacobs pickup. It's been great. I traded away in fantasy, and it was that was a tough trade. But when you get a first, second, 2 fourths, and Amari Cooper for a 6th and Josh Jacobs, you have to do it. By the way, Med, I got Bill. Last thing before we go, I got Bill in that Dynasty League.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna the $250 one. So if you're interested, I'll talk to you more about it later. He actually agreed.
I'm interested. I just gotta figure out a way to put the money in.
So that's the one we're gonna have 12. I'll just pitch this to the viewers because it's kind of cool. We'll have 12 in the NFC, 12 in the AFC. They'll play their 12-team leagues out. They'll play in the Super Bowl either week 16 or 17, and then we'll take the points from the winners of each, and that winner will get it's going to be $250 in. The winner will get a $3,000 prize package, which, if my dad has its way, it'll include 2 tickets, 2 flights, hotel, and spending money for a game of your choice that following season.
You could buy a hot dog afterwards.
I think you can get a hot dog, get some stuff at the Packer Pro Shop, or the Bears. All right, man, this was fun. You want to remind people where you're at? Are you going to have your show this Thursday?
Yeah, I gotta get a hold of Seth, but yeah, we're gonna have a show this coming Thursday at 7:15, right before the game. Just check us out. Hopefully, I'll be sounding a lot better and won't be so snotty.
I will not be here this week, like I said. We had a really cool plan. We're gonna bring a Packer guy on, but that'll happen later in December or January. I'll be back next week with the 2-parter College Bowl pick'em. If we finish most of the games in the first one, we'll do some NFL picks on the Friday show. But my wife's having another surgery on Wednesday, so I will be out this Friday, but I'll be back most likely unless something changes next week. Packers Ravens. Ooh, Mafia members popping in. Like it, man. So yeah, guys, go check that out. That's gonna be a lot of fun. We're gonna win our pick'ems for that College Bowl thing, so that's gonna be legit. But man, this was fun. I needed this. This was good. It was cool to do this with just you, man. Seriously. Thanks, man.
No problem, dude.
Thanks, dude. Right, yeah, she's still healing up. For people, she's hopefully doesn't need a second leg surgery. We'll know more soon. So we actually went to the movies in a wheelchair. That was pretty cool. We went and saw Gladiator 2. I was in Arizona with my fam. I was talking to her a bunch. Came back with a Blink-182 shirt for her. It's one of her favorite bands. Yeah, and a Fleetwood Mac Dreams shirt. That was pretty cool. I went and played poker in Arizona. Lost a couple hundred. Not much fun. Won in darts against my dad for the first time in my life. Hung out with some friends. Dave and Buster's. We went with a 3 and a 5-year-old. Me and my buddy and his wife, and my dad came for 4 hours. 4. We spent so much on games there, and beverages. It was a blast. It was a lot of fun. Seriously, it was a really good trip. I needed it. It was cool to see family for Thanksgiving. I missed the wife, but thanks, dude. I appreciate you, Murph. Thanks, Jason. Jason, we'll talk soon, man. Like I said, we got this going on this week. We'll talk in December, but
next couple of weeks.
Yeah, man.
I actually hung out with Murph and his family this Thanksgiving. So
really. How was that, Murph? I want to hear that story next week.
It was really cool. We all chilled out in the hot tub and ate some really good turkey and ham. And I mean, his dad can cook, bro. And his dad's really cool too. Former Marine, hoorah. And it was a good night. It was a good day. They're basically my second family. So
that's awesome. I could tell when you flipped off the teenager that y'all were close.
That's right.
Well, all right, man. Thank you. Anyways, guys, like I said, I'll be back next Friday, but we haven't locked down time, but we'll probably be back here the same time next Tuesday at 7:30 Eastern with that College Bowl Pick'em. Selection Sunday is this Sunday, so we'll have a couple days to research up. Like I said, we'll have Reg, me, Med, Murph, Seth, and Bill, a 6-guy show. I'm really excited. That's gonna be legit, dude. Yep. But anyways, yeah, thanks everybody for the well wishes. I appreciate it. And yeah, she's doing, every day a little bit better. So yeah, man. Well, I hope your Bears get a win this week. That'd be fun.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Who do you guys play this week?
I don't even know right now.
All right,
I got medicine head going on.
No, you're good, man.
Guys, y'all have a nice night. We'll see you later.